Welcome back. Oh, my eyelashes are like dropping. If you came from the good old stream just 2 seconds ago, before your eyes, please get some water and like stretch or something. Oh my god, because that game was just I like, if you're watching this like in the future, I got some water because you reminded me. Pog, as you should. I got some water. Also, guess what? I did it. I brought the Capri Sun since I was able to get up. One for you. Here, Gammy, take your Capri Sun. It's free. It's a gift. Here you go. That's for you. Oh my god. No. Yeah, I got a stretch and like I stretched out, got some water, refilled, you know, stretched some more. Let me just like post this stuff, but how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Thanks for the drink, as you deserve, Gammy. I got you. Oh. Let me just like post and stuff. Oh my god, but I'm glad you got the drink. So I'ma continue with our life. Hell yeah. Oh my god. I can't spell beginnings. How do you spell beginning? Beginnings and always. Join me, buddies. Hell yeah. I am. How are you guys? How? I know I just streamed, but like I have nothing. I do not know how to speak from what I just witnessed. Better. Turns out I'm too lazy to look for the connect. Look for the connects, the dots from the under pile of notebooks and art supplies. So I'll just color. Yeah, just vibe with me and color. I want to do a drawing stream again. It's been a while since I've done some. Where'd my phone go? Where'd my phone go? Oh, there it is. Reach. I was like, okay. Oh my god. Let me just share it on the social medias. I want to let people know I'm streaming more. I cried so much. That game is amazing, but it's time for some. I've been thinking about this game so much since like the last time I streamed it on Wednesday. I pulled an all-nighter like that Wednesday night because I couldn't stop thinking about how cute it was. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I'm streaming. I was supposed to do this on Saturday, but I was like, it was such a short stream just a second ago. If you were there for that, and you know, it's just like, let me, how do you spell continuing? Continuing with our life. Our life. Hope to see you there. Hee hee. If you follow my Insta, hell yeah. There you go. Get that nice post in. Kimmy, I'm so glad you're here. Continue it. Thank you. I don't think I spelled it right on my Insta anyways, but it's okay. Ooh, maybe I'll draw it too and show you the finished products through Discord. Yes, dude, you should definitely show me if you have a drawing. I love to see stuff. I've been wanting to do a drawing stream for a while since the last time I did it. But I want to get like a tiny, I guess a tablet, not like a drawing tablet, but a tablet, like, I don't know, like a tablet I can use for like school, like laptop ones that turn in, that go crunch and turn around and stuff like that. But yeah, get some water. If you were at my last stream, please get some water and take care of yourself. Yeah, no, that hurt really bad. That hurt really bad. No, yeah, I had to like clean my eyes and like get, you know, eyeliner and fix my eyeliner. My like eyelashes are dropping because of how much crying I did. That game was amazing, but we have to move on with our life. I hope everything's working. I need not an agua, but since you said I will. Please get some agua, Gammy. Please get some agua. I just got here. I think I'm missing some context. Okay. I'll fill you in. So today I planned a stream. The stream was, if you weren't at my last stream. So at 7, I streamed like, what did I stream? What am I doing? Oh my, I streamed Before Your Eyes, which is a game about blinking. The scene changes every time you blink. It like uses your camera and it tracks when you blink, and it's like the story of this guy named Benny and just his life, I guess. And it was so sad. I'm gonna cry again since I just played it. Like, I just finished it 2 seconds ago, and I just started the second stream because I wanted to continue streaming, but oh my god. Yeah, if you have time, go look at the Before Your Eyes stream. The game was so incredible. I would definitely say you should experience it yourself because it was just such a good game. It was an amazing game. And it works really well if you do have the webcam feature and you can see like whenever you blink, you know what I'm saying? Sadly it didn't work for me because my webcam is already in use with this with OBS, so I wasn't able to do it like completely. But it was still like a really great experience even without like the proper webcam. I just kind of had to put in the effort to time my like blinks with you know, the like the game, you know what I'm saying? Oh my god. Like, no, yeah, that was amazing. I'm sorry I'm taking so long to open King. Let me just like, oh my god. What did I do? What did I do? What, my camera? Hey yo, chill. Hey yo, chill. Well, this is a good game to cheer you up in that case, and I guess I'll plan to play it myself later then. Definitely play it yourself later. It's a really good experience. I loved it. I loved that game so much. I'm trying to like fix my camera. I'm sorry. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it there. What happens, happens. But no, that game was really good. Definitely, if you have any time, it's only like an hour and 30 minutes. It's really short. Play it for yourself. It made me cry so badly. I took a breather and I cried just awful for like at least a minute while I was trying to switch streams. But definitely, if you have time, try it. It's an amazing game. It's not that much. I think it's only like $10. It's very affordable. Such a good experience for like only 10. I can't stop crying. That game just hit so different. Derek, I'm coming for you. Okay. Let's cheer ourselves up some more with our life, because I'm in pain. That brought me so much pain. Let's just, our life, please. Please open. I need this. I need this right now. Thank God. Okay, so I've been thinking about this game nonstop since Wednesday, and I was like, maybe I should just, you know, insert a little extra stream because I can't stop thinking about it. It's just really cute, and so I'm glad I have the chance now to do it, because I was planning on doing it tomorrow, but I feel like I'm already like exhausted, right? So I'm glad I have this chance to do it right now. So I can take a break 2 days before the Demon Slayer movie, prepare my heart, and just cry for like 3 days. Man, by the time I'm back, you're already done with Before Your Eyes. I'm sorry! It was a really short game. Honestly, if you didn't see much of it, I would definitely recommend you experience that game for yourself, because it's just such a good experience. It's such a good experience. But I'm glad for the people who were there with me, aka thank you, Gammy Cat. But yeah, I'm gonna try and cheer myself. You watch the Demon Slayer movie. I'm coming for you. I want to see it so bad. I told you it was short. Yeah, it was really short. I loved it though. I loved it a lot. But now we're trying to cheer ourselves up with some our life, because I haven't stopped thinking about this game. But yeah, thank you for being here. I mean it. I like it. I like y'all. Make sure to drink some water and stretch. I made it the pinned comment for this one. But yeah, family, let's just go. I want to watch a movie, but I haven't even seen the anime past the second episode. My sister's like obsessed with Demon Slayer. She's been complaining to my mom. She's like, Demon Slayer is my favorite anime of all time, and you won't let me go see it. I'm a huge Demon Slayer fan, so I instantly got tickets and have all the manga. I need to start collecting Demon Slayer manga. Just the ones I want Zenitsu on the cover though. Let's just try and cheer ourselves up before your eyes. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee. Oh my god, I forgot about this. I forgot about this. I was like, are we in Cove's point of view or something? Are you? Showed it to my cousin, then I sent her so much Nezuko merch for Christmas. Oh, that's sweet. Well, I need 2 more mangas. You already have so much, though. Impressive. I forgot about Lee. You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house and had been relaxing there for a while now. Lee and Lee. Why is it 2 of us? Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice you both set on. A small spread was laid out in front of you. Some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. The Capri Sun is like, I forgot about it. And it was like in front of the screen. You sat up and reached for a snack. Let me know if the stream is okay, by the way, because I just kind of started this abruptly. Or if I need to turn up any volume or anything like that. I gotcha. Derek, my son, I get me catch your father. I'm here for you. Me being Derek's dad. Be better again. That's good. Let's go. You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk away about the musical she had gotten to see a few days ago. It was unbelievable. There was singing, dancing, and crazy stunts. It was all done live right in front of my face. Maybe one day we could go together. I gotta see more shows like that. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. And she was good at it too. You had just gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes. You knew she put a lot of effort into it. You also like singing, but you weren't very good. Nah, I didn't like singing. You weren't good at singing, and that suited you fine. It wasn't something you were interested in doing anyway. I wonder, maybe we could put on our own show. Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come and watch too. It'd totally work. Let's do it. I don't know about that. This idea gave you stage fright. No, I'm really good. I have participated in a couple of convention performances. Convention performances, my weeb conventions. Sure, I'll give it a go. It wasn't something you had really thought about before, but if Lee wanted to do it, then you could at least give it a shot. Lee clapped in excitement and bounced on the balls of her feet, beyond happy that you were on board with her idea. I'm gonna sing. What about you? I know singing isn't your thing. I'm gonna, do a cartwheel. That's what I'll do. Is there no cartwheel option? That's lame. I'll do some kind of stunt that goes with the music. That's what I do. Ooh, a daredevil. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? Do you know what? My god, I had this one convention. My favorite convention that I've ever gone to. Sabo. I don't know what year. Me and a couple friends did Undead from OnStars and OnStars. And I was so scared. I practiced this move for so long. I took this... We had handmade mics, right? I threw the mic in the air and caught it, and I usually was able to do it, but on stage I almost missed it. I was this close from missing it. I don't know. I think the performance of it is on my Instagram. Let me check. IG videos. Bring up IG videos. Yeah, it's on my IG video. But I was so close to dropping it. I was Koga, by the way. Koga's my best boy. One more thing. I'll do the makeup. Good idea. That'll be great. You'll be great at that. Is there anything else coming to your head? One more thing. I'll dance. I danced a lot. Oh, we can pick an upbeat song. We're picking an Star song. Okay. That way it'll be easy for you to move. I think that's an amazing show. You got things pretty covered. The two of you ran back to your house to grab the supplies you needed, dodging your mom's amused questions before heading back out to the blanket to get started. Lee laid out on the blanket, her MP3 player held above her while she swiped through the songs. She suggested a couple different tracks which were fast-paced enough for you to put some moves together. Lee and you discussed the plans in detail. Respectable enemies. For real. Settling on a song first and then practicing out the parts for the show. The afternoon passed quickly, the sun dropping lower and lower in the sky, and after having thoroughly worked out how the show was going to go, you decided to take a break. You know, we should have invited Cove to watch us practice our show. Duh. He could tell if it's as bad before putting on the real thing. I'm glad he didn't see it. I guess that would have been okay. Yeah. When I played this game, I remember Lee reminded me of you. Lee reminds... she looks like... I don't know. Her personality's been pretty, like, okay. Like, she seems like we have a couple in common, but I don't like the style. Like, I wouldn't wear, like, dresses without shoulders. They have to wear shoulders. It might have been nice for Cove to be there, but you felt weird when thinking about him watching the show. Well, cause you're my cool fun cousin. Right back at you, cuz. We could ask him to watch us another time. Your personality isn't like your personality isn't like yours or looks, you know. That's true. Maybe it's just the name. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. He's a good person. I like him too. He's okay. He's kind of boring. I don't really like him. Nah, he's a good person. I knew you'd think so. But speaking of boys we like, what's the relation status between you and Cove? Is it good? I think it's good. I don't know. You blushed and said nothing. You shouldn't gossip. I think things are all right. I don't know. I would just like after like the last one, yeah. Ooh, you're bright red. I guess it's very good. But like, really, are you gonna tell him you have a crush on him anytime soon or what? I don't have a crush on Cove. I'll tell him soon. No, I'm pretty sure he knows. Pretty sure isn't sure. You should declare it to him. Well, I was dancing with some icky acquaintances, but it was actually pretty fun. I'm glad. Dancing is like a good way to exercise and also get like, I don't know, feelings out in a way. That's how I did it in the past, but I don't dance much anymore. If I am dancing, it's to Hi Hi Luna. Period. You mumbled something incoherent, and she gave you a pointed look. You know that he has a crush on you too. It's obvious for him. It's obvious for you. Why not just do it? You didn't say anything, wondering about the possibilities instead. It's nerve-wracking. The two of you talked a little more about Cove, amongst other topics, and you found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sorts of things. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Lee talked excitedly about the show as you did, and you thought back on what you already had accomplished for it. You could definitely do with a little more practice, but what you had so far was a solid foundation for the performance. I thought you accidentally started the stream when I got the notification to know you were gonna keep streaming. No, it was a really short stream. The game was only an hour and 30 minutes. Great experience. Please play it. It was so good. But yeah, I was like, I want to keep streaming, so I decided just to do this. Which is weird because I don't normally dance. I like playing instruments, but I tried something out of my comfort zone. That's cool. Yeah, trying out of your comfort zone can always be an experience. Oh geez, why are they all pressed? Hello? Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee frowning slightly. You had interrupted something. Exactly what? You weren't sure. Oh, so we interrupted something. Oh, that's kind of intense if you're gonna, what's going on? Your moms looked at each other, wondering which one of them was going to speak first. Eventually, Mom cleared her throat and spoke. Oh. We're just having a talk with your sister. The room felt quiet again, but no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to try and keep it a secret. Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your moms nodded in agreement with her. Well, Elizabeth was asking about her parents. What? Oh! Her biological ones. The word spun around at you. The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand. Why was this happening now? When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncontrollably, as though she didn't know if she could be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Your moms had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't fully been explained before. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just hadn't ever thought that you'd accidentally stumbled onto it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from you either. It's your right to know your past, but we did want to wait until you asked us to hear yourself. Why is it happening now, so? Your mom's shared a nervous glance, and Ma took in a quick breath before speaking again. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upwards in surprise. Oh, wait, I wasn't born here?
No.
No, you weren't. You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I gonna have to pass some tests to even be a citizen?
No.
No, you were adopted into the country. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against you. Elizabeth sighed. What is that word? And with information, but still far from happy. Who are my parents? As people, why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support before she gave her the answer.
I'm so sorry.
Sweetie, your parents were reported to have... Oh, why are we still here? I don't feel like I should be hearing this. Your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into detail on the specifics how, but you were an orphan. I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling on enraged. Great, so I can never meet them, even if I wanted to. Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and your moms and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs to her room before anyone could stop her. I have to go and talk to her. Ma immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her by the arm and shook her head. We should give her a little space to process it all. Your ma's head hung low, but she stopped walking. Placate makes someone less angry or hostile. Oh, okay, well that makes sense. Thank you for the definition, Gimme Kit. With Elizabeth now gone, the two of them seemed to remember you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since it's the topic of the day, Lee, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know after all. Lee patted you on the back and gave you a supportive look. I don't know what I would say. I want to know. No, I don't want to hear not right now. You couldn't even answer. I don't know. I feel like I just would be so stuck on trying to like say something. Your parents took that as a no. That's perfectly fine.
I understand.
You can always ask later if you ever change your mind. You smiled at them gratefully. It was nice to know they wanted to be open with you about the topic, even if it wasn't a talk you wanted to have now. No one seemed to have any words after that. You went up to your room. You needed to stay here with your moms. You wanted to get out of the house. You went to see Elizabeth. You wanted to see Cove. I don't know. I don't think I want to like ambush Cove with like this sort of talk. I don't know. I would just go up to my room. You slowly walked past your moms and headed to the stairs, your mind racing from the conversation. You told Lee you want to be alone. You wanted Lee to be with you right now. I don't know if I could ask a friend or a cousin to leave me alone, so I would just say, you're vibing. Lee nodded without a word. When safely behind your closed bedroom door, you let out a heavy breath before heading over to take a seat on your bed. Lee watched you from where she sat on your desk chair and gave a sad sigh and whoa! I can't read that. You guess she didn't really know what she could do to help, but still was trying to be supportive in any way she could. So, what do you want to do? Can I help? There's nothing you can do. I don't want to do anything. Just thanks for being here. Hi, Quantum. You said nothing. Do you think of me as family? Just thanks for being here. I'm happy to. She paced over and sat next to you on the bed. You sat quietly together as time passed. A sudden knock drew your attention, causing you to sit up straight. When you realized it wasn't coming from the door, but the window, your head snapped towards it. Is it Cove? Lee did the same, looking a little uncertain if she should be worried by this development or not. You didn't even question who it was. There was only one person who'd come tapping at your window, especially at night. Like, oh yeah, thank you for liking the stream. I appreciate it. You moved closer and looked out, sure enough seeing the familiar head of green hair, or on the other side of the glass. In only a moment, you had the window unlatched and open for him to enter. Cove pulled himself through the window with ease, standing straight in the room and dusting himself off. Lee tried not to let the display break the seriousness of the situation for her. No, Cove, please don't come from the window. You'll hurt yourself. I was wondering, how does he get up here every time? If we're like in a condo in like Cali, aren't these buildings like crazy? Like our like second story would be crazy high. Cove, what are you doing here? When he saw you, he seemed worried. He ran a hand through his hair before speaking. I came to the front door. I just wanted to come by, but your moms told me they didn't know if you should be bothered right now, that I should come later. I know they would have said I know they wouldn't have said it like if you were working on some school stuff or whatever, so I got worried and thought something bad happened. Yesterday I was watching Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer, you know, I'm gonna go see the Demon Slayer movie on Monday. That's why I'm not gonna have a stream then. Then you climbed up on the side of my house? He smiled, feeling unrepentant for disregarding your mom's ruling.
I mean,
how else was I supposed to get in? You couldn't quite believe he had really shown up for you like this, but then again, you shouldn't have been surprised. He was always there for you.
are you okay?
Well, what happened? Cove pulled your desk chair next to your bed and sat down, his long legs bent in front of him. You fidgeted a little with your bed covers, not quite knowing what to say, but he was willing to wait. There's a lot going on right now. It's nothing. You didn't speak to him. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you're here. Of course. Thanks to Cove's forehead furrowed in concern at your words. Can you explain everything to me? You nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. Silence settled between you and Cove, sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said. Isn't Lee still here? I'm Lee, though. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you.
Leo,
I forgot the name is still that.
I'm so sorry.
About what's happening with Elizabeth, your parents, your family, everything. He stopped suddenly, and you got the impression he was struggling to find more to say. You know, Elizabeth and I haven't ever been super close, but I don't think she'd want her family to break up or drift apart, even if she complains about it sometimes. He smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your moms definitely don't. It doesn't matter if you're not blood related. You're definitely family. I can see that, and I hope you can too. I would cry in relief, bro. His words made a lot of sense. You knew your sister well, and you knew your family would always be important. Even as the tears slowly rolled down your face, the thought comforted you. Your cousin tried not to interrupt your explanation or Cove's response to it. When the opportunity arose, she made it clear she shared the same sentiment. A knock on the door made you look up, though. Before you could even move, it swung open, and Elizabeth stood in your doorframe. She walked closer, and you didn't quite know what to do or what she's planning on saying.
So?
Would you mind going? I just want to talk to Lee. You can come back. It's not gonna be forever or anything. Cove seemed equal parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. Lee wasn't exactly jumping to go, so she checked with you quietly. What do you think? Yeah, I want to talk to you too.
Really?
Oh, then we're on the same page. She made a little move along gesture with her hands, and it was settled. She waited until the two of you were alone before fixing her with an inquisitive look. Elizabeth folded her arms, looking you over. Did Mom tell you about your parents too? I didn't want to know. I don't want to talk about it. I would want to know, but maybe not now. Elizabeth nodded in understanding. Her face solemn. Why did you want to talk to me? Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the question, as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left while I was gone. Aww. Man. Elizabeth, you're alright. She sighed, glancing upwards for a moment before settling on you once more. I wanted to ask what happened without everyone breathing down our necks. Since Cove came through a window, here's some fun facts. Window edition. Before, glass windows were covered in cloth, paper, etc. Also, glass used to be a luxury. I would think glass was crazy luxury. It looks like crystals for Pete's sake. That's pretty crappy of you just to bail. I'm amazed you noticed. That was unkind. Thank you for thinking of me. No, thank you for thinking of me. She stuck her nose up a little at that, but her smile was soft. I'm okay, Elizabeth. It didn't upset me. How are you allowed to be that mature? The light and spirits in her were quickly gone as she slipped back into scowl. You have to be born in the US to become president. What? Oh, she wants to be president? You had never heard of that dream of hers before. She noticed your bafflement and continued. I guess I was never going to be president, but it just feels weird having stuff taken away, not even getting a chance at it. I don't like having to know when I was born. I was gonna have a completely different life, so different that I can't even think about what it'd look like in my head. I could have spoken another language, lived away from everything I've ever seen here, and someone else as my sibling. And then my parents died and I was adopted, and the life I got became a totally new thing forever. Can't go back to what it was even if I wanted to. A heaviness settled between you and the person who became your sister. You knew exactly how she felt. It was a confusing feeling to have lived one way for as long as you can remember, but not having it be what was originally yours. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was trying to make sense of this to you and herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask the question. It was just something I've had in my head for a while. When it was me and Mom's in the living room, I just kind of said it, finally, and there you go. She shifted from one foot to another, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them, what happened, doesn't change how I feel about our family, Lee. She smirked, fixing you with sharp eyes. I already figured a long time ago that our moms weren't our biological parents. That wasn't news. No, let her keep speaking. Nothing about the family I was first born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family anymore. If you had hoped you'd be free from my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky. She bumped her shoulders against yours playfully, her lips tilted at the corners.
You'll always be my little sister.
Whoa, you're gonna make me cry, bro. I just cried. Nah. I will bump her back. And then you'll always be my family too. Chuckling, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. We should probably head downstairs and make sure moms are okay. It's been a long day for everybody. You gave her a nod. Down we go. You met up with Lee and Cove just outside the room and made the short trip to the lower floor of your home together. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you skipped into the living room, you found your moms quietly sitting together at the kitchen table. Wow. They both got to their feet when they noticed the arrival, and Ma gave you a careful smile. It seemed they were too concerned to really register that Cove was That's true. It's good that Elizabeth trusts her moms enough to ask that question. True. I forgot that they denied Cove at the door, and now he's here inside the house. They're gonna put a lock on the window, despite being turned away at the door earlier. We're so glad to see you. Hi. Hi, sweetheart. Then Ma then came over and wrapped her arms around you and Elizabeth, giving you a tight hug. It didn't take long for Mom to join in, putting her arms around the both of you.
Love you.
We really couldn't have asked for better, kiddos. We love you. More than we could ever say. You smushing me. You all chuckled, the rumble of laughter shaking you all as you continued to hold each other tight. Cove the spy? Bro, they're literally gonna put a lock on my window. They're gonna lock up the entire house. They're like, what is wrong with it? What's wrong with this kid? I swear. I let you do. They both pulled back and eventually... They both pulled back eventually and grinned at the two of you. And you knew that then that all you had each other and you always would. Okay. Well, now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family? That sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the night's over. Oh, who was that? Was that the other Lee? Okay. Cove looked a little bashful, likely over being included as part of the family, but he tried not paying much attention to it. Why not? You hid the smile that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood if she hadn't even teased Cove for being part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be here. He was someone who was really important to you. Who's got a suggestion? It should be something we can do here in the house, with everybody in the same room. You suddenly remembered the show you and Lee had been working on earlier. Oh shoot! Are we gonna perform? Oh shit! Pull up the undead music. I got it, bro. You were bummed you never got to do it after all. You were so keen on that now after what happened. No, maybe we can do our show. I want to do like a night song. We'll do a night song from End Stars and we'll show them. I'll pull out the wigs and the makeup and everything. It'll be such a good, oh my god, a show. This is the first time we're hearing of this. I'm intrigued.
Wonderful.
It would be amazing if you put it on for us to watch. Oh yeah, I need to see what you've cooked up. That'd be cool. You smiled at Lee, who returned the gesture while bouncing on her heels in excitement. I just realized, since there's already somebody named Lee, does that mean they'll never put the name Lee in like the little voice bank thing? Does that mean I'll never have Cove saying my name? Are you kidding me? Take some seats, you're getting everything together. Your moms collected the chairs around the dining table and set them in a row in the living room, where there was enough space for the show. While they did that, you and Lee quickly gathered the supplies you needed and rehashed the plan one last time. You listened through the song you had chosen one last time. You also took a moment to cycle through the dance move you had planned, and then made sure to grab your bicycle helmet and knee pads from your bedroom and strap them on. Oh, because we're going crazy. We're doing stunts and everything. After that, you quickly applied the makeup looks you had practiced earlier. When the two of you returned to the living room, everyone was sitting and chatting amongst themselves while they waited. The group quieted down when you and Lee stood in front of them on your makeshift stage. Lee was buzzing quietly with excitement beside you. Oh, this is so cute. Ah, yeah. Oh, dude. The word rehash reminds me of hash browns. Ah, I'm hungry now. Whenever I hear about hash browns, I think of like two different hash browns. The hash browns, like Razor's hash browns from Genshin, and then also McDonald's hash browns, because I had some like, who knows, a while ago. Before like a show or a convention, I'll feel like, dude, like I'm taking this from how I felt at like Sabo, because that convention was like my favorite one, my favorite performance I've ever done. But like my heart was like beating out of my chest. You could hear it. That's what, like, I was just so nervous. No, you felt nervous all of a sudden. No matter how small the audience was, it was still all eyes on you. Okay, so welcome to our show. We only came up with it today, but we promise it'll be good. No refunds. Laughter rippled through the mini audience. You noticed Lee. You nodded at Lee that you were ready to begin. Lee took in a deep breath, waiting for the beats it took to get into the song, and started singing. The dance move you had practiced went perfectly with the tempo of the song. You performed your stunts to the sound of gasp and applause from the audience. The makeup you had done on yourself and Lee made the show feel much more like a real production. When the performance was over, Lee took your hand in hers, and the two of you bowed deeply together. Everyone gave you a round of applause and cheered for an encore. When you straightened yourself up, you were happy to see that even Elizabeth was clapping for you. Bravo, bravo! You're so talented! Your family rose from their seats and came over to congratulate you more directly. You were beaming from ear to ear. Cove was the first one to approach, stepping up to you and Lee with a smile on his face.
It's nice.
Ah, thank you. You're a really great dancer, Lee. It was so cool. Wow. Luckily, we had a crowd who's easily impressed. You blushed and said nothing. I was pretty good, huh? Thanks. Welcome. Hey, were you the one who did the makeup? Yeah, that was me. Cove smiled, content over his guess being correct.
Not bad.
Ah, it's Cove. That's so. It was good. You couldn't help but feel flattered that he could recognize your talent so easily. Your parents gushed about how great everything was and thanked you for sharing it with them. Elizabeth was complimentary in her own way, although she did describe the show as cute, which you knew she meant as kind of kiddie. You laughed it off, however, and were just happy that everyone had a nice time. In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be part of the family you had. Yeah, this is the game I needed after crying so badly. Oh, that was so cute. Can I do like Cove's makeup in the future? That'd be perfect. Okay, go dinner. Sunlight shone through the windows as you sat in your living room, your home phone pressed to your ear. Cove was on the other end. It's been shaping up to be an ordinary day like any other until Cove had called unexpectedly. He sounded unusually nervous greeting you. You listened silently as he kept talking, his words stilted. So, today's stream theme is family, it seems. Wow! You're right. You're so right, and it hurts so bad. Oh my man. So I was just wondering, do you want to come over to my house for dinner tonight? The question came out strangely. Oh, are we going to his house? We've never seen his house before. It's such a comfort game. Yeah, this is such a good comfort game. The question came out strangely, almost like he rehearsed it a few times beforehand. Your eyes widened a little. You hadn't expected this to be the reason behind the call. Yeah, I'll go. I was, oh. It seemed that Cove still had more to say. You just interrupted him. Oops. Oh, really? Cool. Well, he stumbled for a bit, trying to gather his thoughts again. My mom and dad, they really wanted you to be there. If your parents don't have a problem with it, they asked me to ask you. You took a moment to think. Dinner at your home would be quiet and uneventful today. If you really wanted to, you could go to Cove's instead. No, let's go. Cove spoke up again, breaking your thought train. His voice was softer than before. Also, I want you to be there too. Can you come over, I mean? Why am I the only one invited? Or did you mean the whole family? No, I can't make it. I have to. No, yeah, I can come. Thanks, Lee. I'll let them know when I can. He sounded notably relieved by your response. Was you coming over for dinner today that serious? He spoke to you for a little while longer to explain what time to come over and other details, then hung up. This is the first time we're seeing Cope's house! And that was that, for now anyway. Soon enough, the sun dipped out of the sky and evening came. It was time for you to head to Cove's house. After letting Elizabeth know you were leaving, she didn't look away from the TV, just grunted. You made the small journey across the street. You knocked a couple times on the heavy door to their condo. As you waited for an answer, you found yourself contemplating being a guest while both of Cove's parents were there. It was exciting. You were apprehensive. The idea made you curious. You didn't think it would be especially interesting. You couldn't say you weren't thrilled. It was exciting! You thought today was going to be boring, but it turned out to be much more interesting. You didn't get too much time with your thoughts, though. The door opened soon enough. Cove's mom, Kyra, stood in the frame, smiling warmly at you. Hailey, welcome. Please come in. Wow. Whoa. It's so weird. This is the first time I've seen Cove's house. Is there downstairs? Is this a downstairs? I think it is. Wait, no it can't. No, this isn't a downstairs. What is this? Why is it... Oh, I'm so confused at your house. There's no downstairs, but why is this in the middle of the thing? Okay. Whoa. She opened the door wider and moved to make room. You stepped inside, allowing her to shut it behind you. Thank you so much for coming over. I know it was kind of last second. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Just make yourself at home. It's not my house, but I've been given permission to say that. It's Cove's dad! It's Cove's dad! It's a dupe! Hey Lee, welcome to our humble abode. You jerked your head towards the sound of Mr. Holden's voice. He waved at you briefly from the kitchen, his back turned and a large spoon in hand. Hope you're hungry because I'm whipping up a lot of tasty stuff. True to his word, you heard something sizzling on the stove. You closed your eyes and inhaled. It smelled spicy and savory. I can't eat spicy foods. Spicy foods go wow. With Mr. Holden busy and Cove nowhere to be seen, it was just you and Kyra. She gave you a what? I don't think that is not a word. That is not a W-R-Y? A worry smile? He sure is. Well, I've been barred from cooking the entire time I'm staying here. Can you believe that? She nudged. Wow. Cove is not of this world, which is why he's for the furniture arrangement is so strange. He's from Wholesome Folk. He's from Wholesome Topia. That's true. Dude, I'm just confused at the arrangement. Like, specific, everything's fine except back here. Like, what's going on? Why is this, like, thing in the middle? Wouldn't it be just easier not to have it? She nudged you with an elbow. Mr. Holden scoffed good-natured, then spoke from his shoulder. You're on vacation, Kyra. You need to accept that already. They call them condos in game, but they do seem to be on the first story. If that's the right term. I'm not sure how it really works. Seem to be on the first story. No, this does seem like the first story. I'm just so confused at why this is here. I thought this was like a downstairs. You know, you can just go downstairs from this side. But no, because there's a bookshelf right here. So it would either have to be cut off right here and there is still a downstairs, or they just have this weird thing in the way. No idea. You're on vacation, Kyra. You need to accept that already. She yelled back, amusement obvious on her face and her tone. People still cook when they're on vacation. Everyone's gotta eat. It's not like I'm some celebrity who can go out for every meal or hire a private chef.
Sorry.
Well, in this house, you're a VIP. Kyra shook her head quietly. Then she turned to face you once more.
Wow.
Sorry about that, Lee. Here I was trying to strike up a conversation with you and just Cliff just had to butt in. I don't butt in. She eyed him, chuckling in disbelief. She wasn't exactly disproving her point with that. Kyra leaned over to you to whisper to you. It's okay. He likes to be included, but since Clifford insisted on cooking all by himself, he'll have to wait. The two of us can chat. That's a word? Why is that a word? W-R-Y, using or expressing dry, especially mocking humor? I'm gonna start using that in like actual text messages to my friend just to trip them out, just like I did. Her next question continued to be said in a hushed tone just to be safe.
So?
How are you doing? I'm doing good. Oh, I'm good. Things are okay. I'm not really sure. No, I'm vibing. That's what I like to hear. She opened her mouth to say something more, but some lightly pounding footsteps caught your attention. You checked to see if Cove emerged from the hall. A few moments later, he might have heard all the commotion and left his room to see what was going on. It's an adjective. Bro, that's the one thing I can't understand. Adjectives, vowels. You mention that stuff and my brain just malfunctions. My brain just stops. My brain just resets on itself. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And people who understand that are on a different plane of existence. He quickly took stock of the situation. His cheeks tinted pink at the sight of you standing in his living room, and his hand came up to rub his arm almost bashfully. Lee, you made it. Thanks for coming. Clove's voice was unnaturally loud, as if he thought you wouldn't be able to hear him from where you were, only a few feet away. Hi, Cove. You doing okay? Yeah, I'm fine. He didn't sound convincing at all. You narrowed your eyes suspiciously but didn't call him out on it. If you could talk to him alone tonight, maybe you ask him what was going on then. It was when you glanced away from Cove that you spotted his parents watching the two of you interact. Cove noticed their stares too, meeting them with their eyes. Adjective is like a description. It adds details to nouns. Whoa. I can't... Like, even if you explain it, like, my brain just so smooth. It can't... Meeting them with their eyes.
So,
Are we having dinner now? Not yet, bud. I'm still cooking. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my room. As he turned to leave, he bent his head to the side to face you. You coming? The question was quiet, but you heard it clearly. You smiled, pleased that he asked, and nodded in affirmation. Cove turned fully and made his way down the hall. Have fun, you two. We'll call you when food's ready to go. Okay. So smooth, the knowledge slides off. Exactly. With that, you followed after Cove. The two of you made your way down the hall. Ah, it was the first time you were invited to see Cove's room. You had visited Cove's room before, but only rarely. Going over to Cove's room is standard. No, it's the first time! Cove got to the door first, opening it and stepping inside. You joined him. Wah! Wah! That's so cool. Wait, why does he... What is this? A storage system? I've never seen a bed like this. Don't worry, lol. People rarely mention adjectives, nouns, and verbs, so you good. I just kind of turned the English language to whatever I want. That's how it's been. This is so cool. What is this, though? I've never seen this. This is like a storage system. Is that how people store stuff? When they... Huh? There is a mat on the floor in front of the door. As you stepped over the threshold into his room, you felt the crunch of sand beneath your feet. You glanced down. Sand was clustered around the entrance. You even spotted smaller amounts of it dusting the rest of the room's floor. Oh, I can see the sand. The pile of sand. Though you hadn't anticipated it, you weren't surprised at the sight. Of course, Beach Boy Cove Holden would get his room all sandy. So, this is my room. Cove was a bit shy as he said so, fidgeting with the hem of his shirt using one hand and vaguely gesturing to the space with the other. There's stuff you can sit on if you want. You looked over at the desk chair as an option. When you turned back, Cove was already sitting on the edge of his large bed. Are you trying to make your own beach with all this sand? It's nice. Thanks for letting me come over. You weren't sure what to do. Ah, it's nice. Cove's chest puffed out as he sat up straighter and smiled. Thanks. That helped me put stuff up, but I chose what to have and wear. That's cool. I'll sit next to Cove on his bed. As soon as you sat next to him, Cove grew tense. His back sniffed. His back went stiff and he ducked his head away. He tried to hide a trembling smile.
Oh my god.
What's wrong? I just sat next to you. He said it under his breath as if he didn't want you to hear. I love this part so much. Why is he like freaking out? You obviously did uneasily since you were right beside him. You were nervous about that. You smiled comfortably at it. You chuckled over it. You felt charmed by his reaction. Nah, bro. I'm laughing. Why? He raised his eyebrows. You both kept noticing. You both kept noticing the other's every move. Oh my god. I can't say this, bro. These things. I just can't. They're too forward. I'm too nervous. That's like... Oh, that's nervous. You only shrugged back. You're like an open book, you know that? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. You're such a sweet guy, Cove. Like, I don't know what I would say. I would be like, Pog. I don't know. I don't know what to say. You're like an open book. I feel like that's kind of like iffy to say. Tell him he's adorable. Should I just go for it just one time? Since Gammy told me I gotta. I don't want to. See, I wouldn't say it because it's so cute, but at the same time, it's like. Clearly, he hadn't expected the compliment. Somehow, his flesh grew worse, spreading all the way down to his neck. He fumbled for words. I'm not. That's. He gripped the blanket underneath him, searching for something more to say. Did you see my fish? I got some in a tank right there. He's like, look at my fish, bro. Stop looking at me. Cove threw both his hands in front of him to direct your eyes towards his pets. Cove, you good. He was trying pretty poorly to change the topic. That much was clear. You decided to show him mercy and allowed it. You started to watch the bright fish swim. There was a bunch of them floating to and fro the open space. They started out starkly against the green aquamarine plants. How long have you had those fishies?
I guess.
My dad bought them for me not very long after I moved here. I guess it's been years now. Why? I've never had fish more than like, I don't know, two months. Wow, that's a long time. You peered carefully into the tank. The fish looked to be doing well. He must take good care of them. Most of them were small, but there was one especially big one. What are the names? I don't name them. Well, not really. You lifted an eyebrow at that. He continued the explanation sheepishly.
I mean...
Mostly, I just call them things based on what they look like. Squirt for a small one, tangerine for a really orange one, that sort of thing. I've had a lot of fish, and I'm not good at coming up with names. You found that funny. Relatable. Surprising. You found that relatable. You didn't have any pets, but you always had trouble naming your stuffed animals or whatever else. It was such a hard choice. Oh, a couple of them have other types of names. He pointed to the small orangey red fish. I had a turtle and she was really cute. Aw. I know I've had dogs in the past. We have fish right now and like hamsters, but they're not mine, so I don't consider them my pets. It was minding its own business away from the others. My dad named her Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher? Cove stands Dreamcatcher? Cove stands Dreamcatcher. Oh god. Play Boca. And the other one's Mark. Mom came up with that one. Cove smiled to himself, his eyes reflecting the glow from the tank. You let other people name your fish? Called it Crystal. That's just what I was gonna say. It's nice, Crystal. He then turned to you, tilting his head to the side. There was a considering look on his face. Do you want to name one? Can I? His smile grew a little at your interest. Sure. There was a few who didn't have names right now, the newer ones. You can pick which one you want to name. He pointed to each of the recent out to you. The first one was the smallest fish in the tank. It was completely orange and zipped all over the place, running laps around the others. The second was slightly bigger and red. The tail was dotted with black spots which almost resembled freckles. The last fish was the biggest one. Its multicolored scales rippled under the bright light of the tank as slowly as it made its way across the vast expanse. You went with the small fish. Cove nodded at your answer, waiting for you to decide a suitable name. Can I type it? Can I type it, please? You watched the fish you choose closely. As you did, the name eventually came to you. Type it. Easy dubs. Alright, it's Stan Luna. It's Stan Luna. With a... Stan Luna. Stan Luna. With that, his attention moved to you, to the tank. He peered fondly at it and its inhabitants. You smiled proudly at Stan Luna as it swam through the tendrils of the plants, disappearing. Oh my god, no! If I would have put Jinsol, because Jinsol's like animal type is like a beta fish. Oh my god. Disappearing, then reappearing soon after, you noticed then that Cove was sitting closer to you than he was before. He must have scooted over at some point during the conversation. This close, your shoulders were almost brushing against each other. Your heartbeat picked up a little at the realization. You know, I'm not allowed to have pets in my house, not even fish. The corners of Cove's lip turned down at that. That doesn't sound fair. It's not like fish would make a mess of your house or anything. You gotta just take care of the tank and feed them and they'll be okay. Right? My mom's gonna get strict over the weirdest things sometimes. I don't mind it too much. No, I don't mind it. You have to do so much for a pet. It's a lot of work and responsibility. My moms take it super seriously, and that's why they don't want to just get one. It's true. Your current conversation brought to mind a memory from years ago. You launched into it without any warning, earning you a brief, confused look from Cove. One time, Lizzie Elizabeth came back from playing at the beach and just shut herself in her room. Broski, I can't have pets either. Nah, bro. She only came down for food, then ran back upstairs straight after. It was kind of weird. My mom didn't think much of it at first, though. But then, that night, Mom went to her room and said goodnight and started screaming. Mom and I ran over to see what happened. Lizzie had this huge lizard in her arms. What? Cove's eyebrows rose at that. He leaned forward in interest. Oh my god, wait, let me lower this.
Really?
A lizard? Where'd that come from? Elizabeth said she saw it half buried in the sand and didn't know what it was. Then she pulled it out and got the answer, so she brought it home. She hid the lizard in her room for most of the day because she wanted to keep it. Mom and Ma were not happy. They were worried about putting it out during the night, but she was gonna have to let it go in the morning. I want a snake, but rules are rules, I guess. And, oh my god, a snake would be kind of... Wow. Isn't that like a pretty like upkeep type of pet? Wow. Snakes. Lizzie was really upset. She did bring it back to the beach eventually, but she wouldn't talk to anyone for days. When she did go over it, it was almost like it never happened. You laughed, thinking back to that time. Elizabeth had always been stubborn, but when she was younger, she forgot grudges quickly. Now it wasn't so easy. Cove had been quiet for most of the story, apart from the reveal of the lizard. He had thought He had a thoughtful look on his face. I can't even imagine what it'll be like to have a sibling. Oh yeah, he's an only child. You gave serious thought to his statement before you told him. You're lucky to be an only child. You're lucky. It's terrible having siblings, especially if you're the youngest. Elizabeth tells me what to do all the time, and I says I have to do it because she's older. Cove pursed his lips at the words, considering them quietly for a while. But bruh, honestly, Cove, same.
Cool.
That's interesting. I think your family's cool. He didn't have much else to say, though while on the topic of your family, you considered your relationship with your moms too. Me and Cove, only child gang. Wow, I have like 3 other siblings, not counting myself. They were absolutely the best. You got along with your moms? You thought your moms were okay? You found it difficult? No, I got along with my moms in this. You had disagreements with them, but at the end of the day, you loved them and they loved you. That was what really mattered. At least I never had to share things. No, bro. That's one thing I will never stop. I have to share things all the time, but it's usually small things. If it's a big thing, I'll be like, no, you're not. No, I'm the oldest though, so hey. A thought struck you when your attention suddenly settled back on Cove. Yeah, my moms might not let Elizabeth or me have pets and stuff, but at least they never tried to pay someone to be my friend. Why would you say that? You grinned over at Cove. It had been years since he found out about your first meeting with his dad. It was easy to joke about these. Oh my god, you scared me. Why would you even mention that? If you can joke about it, then I guess, but I would be so... Cove tossed his head back in an overly dramatic way, sighing heavily. I almost forgot about that. Really?
No way.
No, not really. I'll never be able to forget that actually happened for the rest of my life. It's gonna humiliate for me forever. I'm really sorry about what happened, Cove. Then I'm sorry, since I'm gonna bring it up forever. Yeah, I get that would be embarrassing. You stayed quiet, you laughed. Oh my god. No, I'd be like, sorry, because I don't want to joke about that to begin with. Cove took one look at your remorseful face and waved your apology off with a hand. It mentioned it because if you hadn't already told him, this would be your chance for this setup. Oh, I remember hearing that you have like one chance each step to like tell him, right? It's okay. I mean, it's not, but I'm not sad about it anymore. Just really embarrassed. Time passed, but you didn't really notice. The two of you were busy making plans for the rest of the summer and chatting about your respective days. Eventually, you heard muffled holler from a different part of the house. You and Cove raised your heads in unison.
Oh.
It's time for dinner. Cove watched the firmly shut door he had been locked behind for most of the night, but he didn't make a move to get up from the bed. You couldn't see his face, so you didn't know what expression he was wearing. I'm glad you came. Aw. Cove peeked back at you from the side. It's been awkward. I get that. It's been hard on you, huh? You felt sympathetic towards him. You didn't know what he was going through, but you cared about him. Cove said nothing else and remained sat where he was. Now would be good. Now would be a good. Oh my god, can I breathe? Now would be as good a time as any to ask him why his parents so suddenly wanted you to come over. Is there a reason they wanted me to come over tonight? Why not? It hasn't been awkward just for me. Sometimes it gets like this when no one else is around, but now you're here. Huh, yeah, I didn't consider that, but it sort of made sense in a way. There was another shout from outside, too muffled to actually know the words, but you can imagine what they were. Let's go. Cole finally got up, lumbering away with his shoulders sagged. You followed after him. The two of you made your way back to the living room. As expected, Mr. Holden, hello. As you expected, Cove's parents were politely waiting for you at the kitchen table beside the windows looking over the back of the house. Food had been prepared and set. Mr. Holden beamed at you and Cove. Imagine if I told him now instead of later. Does that mean his mom would have been like a part of the conversation? We would be at the dinner it would be a dinner table fight, bro. Mr. Holden beamed at you and Cove took your places. I hope everyone's hungry. I cooked up a feast.
Yeah.
I know I am. Yeah. Cove mumbled's response wasn't nearly as upbeat as theirs. His parents didn't notice or pretended not to. Mr. Hoden instead looked at you, grinning.
Thanks.
Let's all take a moment to thank our special guest for being with us here tonight. I'm so glad you were able to make it, Lee, on such short notice, too. You thanks, Cove's parents, for inviting you. You didn't say anything you felt too awkward about. No, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you both for inviting me.
All right.
Well, that's it. Everyone, please dig in. You can help yourselves to the food. Upon his encouragement, you looked over at the meal spread out in front of you. There was a large garden salad in the center, surrounded by a variety of Mexican dishes. There are lots of sides and optional sauces to add. Wow. You can work with this. You weren't exactly a fan. This kind of surprised you. A dinner table talk. I've had many of those and they're awkward. Yeah, they're awkward. I don't really sit at the dinner table much. You were happy. You could work with this. You weren't exactly a fan. I was happy. You loved Mexican food. There's so many dishes to choose from. You're practically drooling. Utensils and plates scraped and clinked together as the group began filling their plates. Cliff, could you pass the salsa verde? Of course. Thank you. Let me just say you really outdid yourself tonight. I'm so jealous. Jealous of what? Your cooking's nothing to sneeze at, Kyra. Cove's parents made small talk, filling the silence with what seemed to be barely any effort. You chimed in as well. Did it take a long time for you to cook all this, Mr. Holden? Jade! Hi, Jade! Jade! Did you know that Cove named one of his fishies, Dreamcatcher? And then I named one of the fishes Stan Luna. It got me in the K-pop mood after I heard he named one of his fishes. His dad named one of his fishes Dreamcatcher. Oh no, not at all. Sure, this is more than I usually make for me and Cove, but I enjoyed every second of it. Mexican food for the win. Might have gone faster if you had some help though. Nah, because the dad is so with the hair down. He's very pretty. Cove's mom grumbled, but it was lighthearted. Mr. Holden chuckled and shook his head. Not this again. I make the rules here, and I say guests don't cook. Even when they're starving for literally weeks.
Come on.
Even then. Everything looks great, Dad, as always. Hard to imagine. What? Imagine eating dinner at an actual dinner table with other humans. Couldn't be me. No, couldn't be me either. Could not. Thanks, sport. Glad you think so. Cove smiled. It was genuine, even if it was strained at the corners. Brief silent interspersed. That's a word? Why is that a word? The small talk. You piled some food on your plate, waiting for your turn if someone was serving themselves, a dish that you had your eye on. Once the food had been divided, the things settled down. Cove's parents started talking again. Now then, what? You sat up in your seat when you noticed they were both looking at you. Why are you looking at me?
How's it going?
How has everything been over at your house? Are your moms well? You've been keeping busy this summer, or maybe you're just trying to take it easy during the break? You felt overwhelmed by the rush of sudden questions. Yeah, it's a word I know the meaning, but I can't explain it. I've never seen that word. This game is just kind of showing me words I didn't know that existed. What was the one word? W-R-Y? That I You're more than happy to answer. You were surprised, but you didn't mind the interest. You felt uncomfortable. Nah, I would be surprised, but I don't mind them asking. You hadn't expected so many questions all at once. Still, what else was there to talk about apart from the how summer was going? You answered how things were you answered them. You mentioned things you've done this summer. I'm not sure where to start. There's so much that's happened. You should know what I've been up since so much has included your family. I'm not sure where to start. There's so much that's happened. Honestly, Cove said, I've been sort of into you. Let's talk about the Jade. Cause Mr. Holden's eyebrows raised when you answered that. You sure are keeping yourself busy. I could learn a thing or two from you. You told them how your mom was doing. Mom's the same as always. Work is a little stressful, but they said it's normal grown-up stuff and that there's nothing to worry about. Don't brain run. I know too well what that's like, unfortunately. You answered things at my house. It's been good, is what you said, but you didn't mean it. It's been alright. It's been good. Nah, we've been vibing.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful. since I'm okay, I will do one of the stuff. Some stuff. I'll be going. It's been really fun. Thanks you for the Capri Sun. I thank you for joining both of my streams, Gabby. It was so much fun crying with you. I'll take care of your son, Derek. I'll once I see him, I'll hand him a Capri Sun or something. No, I could learn to think about you too. You're so his smile, Tip smile. He has such good. His character's so cool. But take care, Gabby. Oh, that's wonderful. And that was the end of your questions. Kyra nodded along. You could tell she was actually listening to the words you were saying. She was trying to include you, not humor you. Did you know Cliff Lee is really into reading? Oh, Mr. Holden's face lit up. Kyra, I swear, if you... He stopped eating so he could lean forward. His arm braced against the table.
Nice work.
That's right. Very cool. It's just a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to do things just for fun. Everyone needs a hobby. I've been thinking of picking up wood carving myself. You couldn't tell how serious he was from about the declaration. Give him Gatorade. It's his face. Yeah, you take care too. Thank you for joining. Cove's parents were definitely the encouraging type, but you could already tell that much about them. There was a lull in conversation as everyone focused their attention on their respective plates. You noted not for the first time that Cove's parents were the ones guiding the conversation. You wondered if she should break the silence this time. You brought up your own topic for conversation. You left coming up with a conversation to them. If it's not my house, I would not speak unless spoken, you know? Mr. Holden was the one who spoke, glancing at his son before turning to you with an easy grin. Hey, chill, though. Hey, chill. Speaking of hobbies, Cove's been playing some tennis this summer. He and Kyra keep hitting the court together. Who would have guessed? You had already known that since Cove is so open with you, but it was interesting to hear his parents' perspective on it. The rest of dinner continued just like that, with light conversation as you ate your meals. Eventually, all the dishes on the kitchen table were pretty much gone. Kyra set her fork and rested her arms at her sides, letting loose a satisfied sigh. Her plate was completely empty.
Thanks.
That was delish. Thank you for the culinary creations, Cliff. Mr. Holden was like a flower soaking up the rays of sun. He beamed, flattered by the praise. I probably ate a lot. You practically licked your plate clean. You're so full that you were afraid you might burst. Cove successfully kept his presence to a minimum for the full meal. He was slumped over, even now, toying with his silverware. His parents practically only talked to you. Most attempts to entice him to join the conversation failed. It wasn't typical for him to say so little. At least he tried to participate. You didn't get much time to contemplate Cove's situation because your attention was taken by Mr. Holden, pointedly clearing his voice. Not to sound like a broken record, but thanks for coming, Lee. I'm glad we finally got the chance to have you over for a real dinner. What? Did I hear that right? This is the first time Lee has ever had dinner here? Why in the world haven't you invited her sooner? Cove was always the one going over to Lee's house until now. I mean, how am I supposed to reject my generous offers of the Shino family to host my kid? Kyra shook her head, but the amusement smile she was sporting told you that she wasn't actually mad. This guy, honestly. Oh shit. Oh, the three of you looked at Cove in unison, his small sound being more than enough to get the focus on him after his silence. But now he stopped fiddling with his fork. Would it be alright for Lee to stay over, like, for the night? Would it? Would it? What? Hey, would it? I mean, sure. He shot you a shy glance then, smiling a little. If you're cool with that. Mr. Holden's shoulders stiffened. He sat up straighter, his eyes darting back and forth between you and Cove. His mouth opened, but not a peep came out. You've never seen Cove's dad said no to him before, but this was different than the usual request. It wasn't so simple, and Mr. Holden was at a loss. Then Cove's mom reached out and took hold of his shirt collar. She pulled him closer. She glanced at you before leaning in and bringing a hand up in front of their faces. The two adults whispered seriously to each other. Wow. Cove's eyes opened wider. He leaned forward as if that would help him overhear his parents' conversation. Mr. Holden kept gesturing with his hands while Kyra made sure he didn't get too far away with all his movements. They're like talking. They're spilling tea. They're spilling tea. Okay, let me just... There you go. Every now and then, both of them would watch you and Cove out of the corner of their eyes. It didn't seem like they were fighting to you. They were fighting to you. They looked more like some kind of tiny sports team having a private huddle. After a bit, they broke the powwow. They moved back to sit properly in the chairs. You snuck a look at Cove. He stared at them expectantly. You were eager to hear their verdict too. We, Kyra and I, think that should be fine, but... He lifted a finger dramatically, his eyebrows raising as he met Cove's gaze and then your own. We have to talk with Lee's parents to make sure they'll be comfortable with it. If they are, we can arrange for a sleepover to happen on a different night when everyone is more prepared. If Lee's folks don't like the idea, there's nothing we can do. They finished their mini speech with a wide shrug, using his full arms. He also checked out Kyra from the corner of his eye. He gave her a crooked smile. She nodded approvingly and grinned back. You thought you saw her give him a big thumbs up. Blah. But her hand was partially blocked by the table. They looked so pleased with themselves over the answer, but they just passed the actual decision on whether it was alright or not to someone else, namely your parents. If this was a sports game, they would have punted the ball away. Cove hung his head, deflated. He had been hoping you could stay over today. Not some hypothetical time in the future. You gave him some words of encouragement. You patted him on the back. Psh, I'll sneak the phone into my room tonight. You could always sneak into my room again. You pouted about it. Nah, pat him on the back. You didn't say a word. Instead, you reached over and gave him an understanding pat on the back. Though he appeared upset, the corners of his lips lifted in a little appreciation of your comfort. With that, dinner finally came to an end. Mr. Holden stood up from the table and began collecting empty plates. Cove was asked to help out, which he did with a little fuss. Kyra tried to lend a hand as well, however, Mr. Holden didn't let her. It seems she was barren from cleaning as well as cooking. You weren't allowed to chip in either, since you were there as the declared guest of honor. Although the meal was over, the night wasn't. It looked like you weren't going home just yet after all. You were asked to wait on the couch. While Cove and his dad were cleaning up the mess, Kyra disappeared down the hall after shooting you a wink. It was a bit strange sitting by yourself while everyone else had something to do. Luckily, you weren't alone for too long. After a couple minutes, Cove's mom returned with a deck of cards in hand. She strolled into the room confidently while shuffling. So, who's up for a few rounds? Cove and his dad looked over their shoulder at the question. They were mutually intrigued by the cards in her hand. She beamed at their expressions and stepped further into the living room, ignoring the couch as she sat cross-legged on the floor by the coffee table. She turned to you and gestured at the space beside her, smiling invitingly. You accepted and followed her lead. The living room carpet was soft, though the hardwood floor underneath could definitely still be full. Kyra did an overhand shuffle while she waited for the others to finish their tasks. The smile had yet to leave her lips.
Great.
This is gonna be good. You enjoyed her amusement. You're nervous. I would either be nervous or enjoy her. I would be nervous. You got through dinner alright, but you didn't know how the rest of the evening would go. It didn't take much longer for Cove and his dad to wrap things enough to call it good. Cove's dad appeared first, followed closely behind Cove. Mr. Holden rubbed his hands together in anticipation. Alright, I'm ready. As he took a seat across from you on the floor, you noticed that Cove hadn't joined him. He went straight down the hall instead, without even a word. You stared on confused as he disappeared through his bedroom. Cove's parents didn't look concerned at the stunt. Kyra nonchalantly split the deck of cards into two and riffled the halves together while offering an explanation of sorts. Cove doesn't keep his wallet with him when at home. He puts it away. Why does his wallet matter? Cove doesn't keep his wallet with him when at home. He puts it away. What? Cove quickly returned to the living room, a black wallet in hand. He took a plate, sat the floor table with the rest of you. You blinked as Cove unzipped his wallet. You all use real money on card games with family? Oh, shoot. Reminds me of my family playing, like, I don't know, Loteria or something. While you sat there, your hands idled in your lap. The three shot looks at one another and sized each other up.
Yeah.
That's right. $5 per round, per person, winner takes all. Go big or go home. Oh, are you planning on kicking Lee to the curb, or do you intend on donating to the guest of honors pot, Mr. High Roller? I didn't bring a wallet. I didn't bring shit. Mr. Holden narrowed his eyes and leaned back against the side of the couch, completely at ease.
No worries.
If Lee wants to play, I'll fund her way in. Don't you worry about that. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Dove. He rested an arm across the top of a knee that he propped up. Cove's dad was always acting sleek in a way you'd never seen before. You joked that he shouldn't be confident. You appreciate his offer. You felt awkward about the situation. His surety in this was pretty appealing. You ignored it. I appreciate his offer. Thanks, Mr. Holden. His tone and stance instantly became more friendly when he started directing his words towards you. No problem, you can count on me. You can let me pay for Lee, she's my friend. Wah! Mr. Holden grinned with a chuckle.
Good.
Alright, bud, I concede. You're too polite for me. Well, you got your ticket. Interested in throwing in? You glanced around. This seemed like a serious business in response to your what is that word? Consternation? Kyra softened her competitive smile. Don't worry too much. We'll probably do some rounds of Go Fish tonight. No biggie.
Do you mind?
What do you think? I'll join in if he's okay with doing. I'd love to play. Mr. Holden gave you a big thumbs up while Cove nodded firmly back. You're really good at Goblet. You're always bad. I only know how to play Uno, so I'm just gonna say I'm decent at Goldfish. Sometimes you won, sometimes you lost. You like to think you weren't bad at it, though. Fantastic. We'll play for however long everyone wants to keep going, or until people start running out of cash, but still refusing to quit while they're behind. Speak for yourself, I see. With a laugh, Kyra nudged you using an elbow, then motioned towards the other two with her chin. Don't be fooled by their soft faces, these boys are sharks. In reaction to her words, Mr. Holden smirked, and Cove's eyebrows became more angled. Kyra's phrasing made you think back to when you were young, specifically of Mr. Holden's favorite shark pants that he used to wear all the time. Perhaps they have been fit for him in ways you didn't know of. You could feel the tension in the air. Cove and his parents glued their eyes to one another, then placed $5 bills in an empty space in front of them. Cove dropped an extra one for you, giving you a tiny smile after you did. Thank you! Once this was done, Kyrie began dealing out the cards to everybody. It was time to begin. The first round came and went quickly with the group. The first round came and went quickly, with the group getting into the groove of things. You won right away, which means you had money to keep playing the second round. You're natural! Nicely done. You better keep those wits about you for the next round, though. As the night went on, this is just so wholesome. As the night went on, so did the games. Mr. Holden would jokingly shake his fist when someone other than him got a pair. Kyra acted like a news anchor, reporting on every move everyone made by speaking into her curled fist. Cove with still a few words, but now it was because he was focused on the game instead of being overcome with awkwardness. Most of the time, you even spotted a smile on his lips. You won quite a few games to your delight. You had a hefty money pile on your side of the table. You must regret paying Lee's way in now, huh? No way. Lee might be beating me, but she's also beating you two. Cove turned towards you and smiled, looking pleased at your ability to match his mom and dad. You grinned at him, touched by his speedy comeback. It became clear that where the money went in, the moment didn't really matter. They ended up giving back to one another in other ways, and not just through more rounds of cards. You sat back, looking over the scene. A tiny smile grew on your face. Cove's family was pretty cool, you thought. You're glad you got this chance to come over and spend time with the three of them. That was cute. I didn't know they used real money, but at the same time, my family does that too. I just didn't give it a second thought. That's cute. That's really cute. Okay, let's see. What should we do? What time is it? It's only 10:17. It's not even that late. Road trip. Okay, so the one I'm excited for is road trip and escapade. I'm gonna see if I can get through all of these DLCs for the rest of the night, and then next time I stream, I'll just do like the step 3. Red trip. Even I've never done anything like that with my family. Really, my family uses real money a lot of the time. Literally all the time. They've never done it without real money when they play like card games and stuff. Even though you were awake, the sun had barely peeked its head over above the horizon, and the sky above was still dark. Then again, I don't do much of anything with my family, but irrelevant. Though lightening by the minute. Usually, you wouldn't be up so early, especially during summer vacation, but today was different. Today, instead of the lazy days you were used to, everything around you was a flurry of activities as both your family and Cove's prepared for what lay ahead. Because parked in the street just outside your house was a massive RV camper, so big you couldn't even see Cove's house behind it. His parents rented the RV for a few days to take him on a short road trip to see the Redwood National Park. You glanced at Cove, who was standing nearby taking in the scene in front of him. The prospect of the trip had to be a mixed bag for him, but it was only 3 days, so it seemed he was dealing with it as best he could. Especially now that you and your family were joining them. You weren't sure how exactly it happened. You knew your parents and Cove spoke to each other often, and somewhere along the way, plans were made after Cliff offered to share the space. The parents all thought it was a fantastic idea. You had already gotten a good look inside while helping to load everything in, and you had to admit that while it was a really big car, fitting that many people inside was going to be snug.
Let's go.
Why move it or lose it, kiddo? Mom bustled past with a cooler in one hand and a large bottle of water in the other. She was upbeat for this early in the morning. Oh, she's all sleepy. Oh, she's so cute. Oh my god. Ma, however, seemed to be on the other side of the wavelength. She followed behind her wife, dragging her feet on every step. I'm gonna need a whole jug of coffee once you hit the road. You could relate to Ma. It was way too early. Personally, you're raring to go as your mom. You felt like you were in the middle ground. No, it was way too early. You yawned and rubbed at your eyes, still sleepy from the early morning wake-up call. The air outside was still damp and dew, and that helped make you a bit more alert. Wow. And then at the end of the chain came your sister. She had a bone to pick before the trip officially started. Her ratting off critiques added some level of normalcy to everything new going on. I don't get why I can't sleep in bed tonight. Lee's the youngest, and I'll never fall asleep in that loft. We're trying to make things fair on everyone. If you want to play the older card, you should be offering to take the loft both nights. It's important for big siblings to make sacrifices for their younger ones. Elizabeth huffed, not being happy with the answer in the slightest, and folded her arms, leaning back against the side of the RV. The trip plans had been nailed down prior. The sleeping arrangements included Elizabeth still held on to her objections with them. Right, pronounced like rare-ing. I think it means you're very energized and ready. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Oh, I swear. This game has like so many words that I just can't understand. There was a main area of the RV with a couch, loft, and some floor space. At the end of the car was a room with a large bed. Your moms were sharing the bed. Kyra was on the couch, and father and son intended to sleep on the floor. The adults determined you and Elizabeth would switch between the small loft above the driver's seat and sharing the bed with the moms. You're fine with the arrangements. You were excited to sleep in a loft. You felt sharing a bed with your parents is going to be kind of awkward. You were looking forward to sleepover with your moms. You weren't too happy either. You didn't want to make a fuss. You thought it was unfair that Cove had to sleep on the floor. I feel like the adults should sleep on the floor, right? And the kiddos should sleep on like the like, you know, I I don't know, the loft. After all, it was supposed to be a trip for him and his family before yours ended up coming along too. Now I had to be kicked out of every bed like the space and put on the floor. There had to be another way to organize things so it was better for him. You offered to sleep somewhere else. You suggested sharing the loft with Cove. You said nothing about it. It would be somewhere between these two. I don't know. I would offer to sleep somewhere else first, if I'm being honest. I could sleep on the floor or whatever for one night, so Cove could have a turn in the loft instead. You announced your idea to the group, and everyone paused from what they were doing to consider it. Cove was taken aback by the consideration, like he hadn't thought about how he had clearly gotten the short end of the stick.
No.
There's no way you'd be sleeping in the back while I'm with Moms. There's barely enough room there. For 3. We can't add a 4th. Then I can be on the floor for a night, and he'll be on the floor for one night when Elizabeth is in the loft.
Sorry.
No can do, Lee. Sorry, the 3 of us all together down there is bonding time. Cliff put one arm around Kyra's shoulder and the other around Cove, dragging them both into him. They smiled at his little show. I'm afraid we can't extend you an invite. You simply have to take the loft. Cove and his mom both shook their heads at Mr. Holden, and you had to agree it was a pretty weak excuse. As far as excuses go, they were just being hospitable to your family.
Don't worry about it.
Ah, it's alright. Thanks, Lee. It's alright. I can take the floor for 2 nights. And that settled the matter for good. Alright, you lot. Does everyone have everything they need? We're heading out in 5 minutes, and now's the time to double check. You don't want to forget something important. After the word, Elizabeth yelped as she dashed back into the house, her bedhead hair bouncing behind her as she went. Ma came over and gave you a smile, setting your hands on her hips. How about you, Lee? What, do you have your clothes all packed? Toiletries, deodorant, floss, anything else you can think of? Oops, you gave her a flat look. You weren't sure about that. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I can't remember what. Ma chuckled and gave you a squeeze on the shoulder. I get like that on trips too, so I've learned to pack extra in case I or anyone else forgets. With the amount of supplies we're stuffed in the RV, I think we'll be okay. It's only for a few days after all. Thanks, Ma. With the few minutes left to spare before leaving, you mentally went over what you had packed for the trip. Clothes, a pillow, blankets, usual day-to-day gear for most people. You also had more personal things, such as... I would have a portable game console. I've taken like my Switch and like stuff like that to like every trip I've gone on. To drive to Redwood National Park would take an entire day one way, so you wanted to make sure you had a way to entertain yourself while traveling there and back. I would have music, but instead of an MP3 player, it would just be my phone. With so much time going to be spent driving in a car, you wanted to make sure you'd be able to have some music to put on. I would also have a bag of makeup. You kind of dreaded the idea of trying to apply it nicely while in a cramped RV, but it was something you wanted to keep on hand. What else did I have? Would I have maybe a pencil and a paper? You had to be prepared in case you saw something to sketch at the park, or if you had to write anything down, or if you needed to pass time just doodling. What else would I have? A couple things to read. I'm just picking all the options. You had packed one of your old favorites and a new one you never tried before. You knew you had plenty of time for them both on such a long drive. I think... a stuffed animal. Without fail, it always made you feel more comfortable whenever you went somewhere new. It was like taking a little piece of home away with you. I think that was it. That's everything. Hey, let me take that for you, Lee. I'll stow it in the RV. There's a few spots left. It'll fit. You let Kyra take your bags and gave her a grateful smile. With nothing left to do, you watched the others getting ready for the trip. Kyra and Cliff seemed to have the most energy of anyone. They were finishing packing the suitcases away while your moms had gone to lock up the house. They high-fived whenever whenever another one got crammed into the storage compartments of the vehicle. Even though your own parents were more low-key than Cove's, you could tell that they were both excited for the trip. It had been a while since your family had been away anywhere together. Elizabeth skipped towards the RV, a bag slung over her shoulder, and you were surprised to see she seemed more optimistic about the whole ordeal now. Usually, she wasn't one to exit the confines of a room unless it was for TV or food, or to leave her family behind and be with some friends. You would have thought 3 whole days packed in an RV with 6 others would have been too much for her, but it was a nice surprise. You suppose any vacation was better than no vacation in her mind. Cove had been pretty quiet so far. More than anything, seemed to be overwhelmed by the situation. You were excited for the trip too. You weren't very excited for the trip either. You were eager to get to the destination. You're curious about the RV. Didn't feel much either way about the plans. I was excited for the trip. Usually the trip to the place is kind of more fun for me, honestly. It was a great getaway and explore new places. Soon the remaining task had been all wrapped up. Oh. Cool RV. Everyone piled into the RV. It was officially time for the trip to start. And it did. Cliff took the first shift driving. He cautiously navigated the massive car out of the narrow neighborhood streets. It was touch and go for the first part of the journey. Your moms and Kyra were all huddled at the front, trying to get a view of how much space they had on each side. There was a sense of relief when the first long leg of the trip was a hit. The RV would only need to go down one stretch of highway for miles. The mom group cleared out of the driver's area, leaving Cove's dad to it, taking more comfortable seats around the main cabin. You felt like you could finally relax now too. Time slipped by as morning faded away. Before you realized it, the engine of the RV came to a stop, but only halted for a few moments as Cliff climbed out from the driver's seat and Mom took over. Mom was sitting shotgun, giving Mom a quick tutorial of the controls, as it was her first time driving anything this large. Cliff groaned as he headed towards the rest of you, stretching his arms above his head and loosening his muscles. Ah! Cove's dad with sunglasses, Cove's dad with sunglasses, Cove's dad with sunglasses. We're making good progress. Yeah, maybe you should take a nap in the back for a while. That was a long haul you just did, and I know you're on less sleep than usual. Cliff waved a hand, the trademark grin of his slipping into place. I need sleep. I still got a few miles in the old tank. Wow. He flexed an arm, showing off his muscles to the drive at the point. I cannot read. He flexed an arm, showing off his muscles to drive the point about how resilient he was at home. And Kyra rolled her eyes in amusement. Dad, everybody has to sleep. Cove groaned at the tough guy act, though Cliff simply chuckled and ruffled his son's hair.
So?
Are you going to be driving again anytime soon, Mr. Holden? I want to know so I can prepare. Did anyone pack some rope? I might need it. There's no seat belts up in here. Elizabeth called down from where she was lounging in the loft above the driving compartment. Oh, this is the loft? Is this where you lay down and stuff? I've never been in an RV. She was laying on her back, her hair falling over the side and swinging around as the RV started up again and took off down the road. A bag of potato chip was balanced on Elizabeth's stomach as she tossed a couple in her mouth, right as Cliff held a hand to his chest, pretending to be offended by the remark. Kyra laughed lightheartedly.
Don't worry about it.
Wow. Lucky for all of us, we have enough adults to cover the shifts today. He won't be driving again until tomorrow. Wow. You stay quiet. You shook your head at the ribbling. Phew, that's a relief. Just enough time to wrap up my last will and testament. We shouldn't gang up in the park. It's not his driving I'm worried about. It's the Mom's. Let's not forget how many times Mom has pulled in a dent, put a dent in our car. It was only twice, and neither of those times was my fault. Thank you very much. Mom then shouted back in her seat to join the conversation, a playful smile tilting her lips. What I'm more worried about is this old monster getting us there and back again before falling apart. It looks as though it was built in the early 90s. 90s. It must be older than some of the occupants. Just the aesthetic of the decor. It's not that old, I think. Did you ask what year the model was before you rented it? Kyra wrinkled her nose and thought, yes, I did. I just can't remember what the answer was. Cliff chuckled at her while the rest of you let out a collective sigh. The RV lurched a little as it picked up speed, and you held on to the ladder to the loft to keep your balance. You felt something graze the top of your head before a weight settled on your black hair. I forgot it was black because I chose black hair since I don't have like a dark brown. When you tilted up your chin carefully to look, you heard the rustling of a bag of chips and realized Elizabeth had rested the end of it on your head. She gestured to opening, silently offering to share her snack. I took a handful. Reaching up, you scooped up some chips. After that, the weight of the package left your scalp. You happily munched away as the conversation continued on and you got closer and closer to your destination. Wow. I like how it looks. I like how the RV looks like this. Wow. The day flew by with the group of you chatting, playing games, and passing the time together before finally arriving at the park and setting up for the night. Ma was closing the windows while everyone got ready for bed, saying goodnight to the others as she made her way to the back room. You had all had dinner together while driving, and some hours after had arrived at your destination and found a spot in the park. What? My eyes are just tripping. You had all had dinner together while still driving, and some hours after you had arrived at your destination and found a spot in the park for the rest of your stay. Oh my god. Giving a look across the front of the RV, you noticed almost everyone there was already dozing off where they were, with Cove having completely fallen asleep, curled up in the passenger seat. He must have done so while Kyra was driving the last leg. They had decided not to disturb him. Kyra herself was the only one up there who was still awake, flipping through a magazine next to a portable light from her spot on the couch. It seemed Mr. Horton needed to sleep despite his claims. You follow your moms back into the back room and close the door behind you before crawling into bed between them. It was a queen-size bed, so there was enough space for the three of you together without too much squishing.
Good night.
Good night. Get a good rest, Lee. We got a big day ahead of us tomorrow.
That's fantastic.
I'm looking forward to the bushwalk in the morning. It had been a long time since I was out in nature like this. There'll be plenty for us to see. You stayed awake for a little while longer while your moms whispered about the park and the forest in general. With the sounds of their voices in the background, eventually you nodded off to sleep. Wow. The next morning, you were up bright and I like this. I like this song a lot. I'm sorry. This is like my favorite like OST. I think I know like soundtrack. I guess. The next morning, you were up bright and early, preparing for the day ahead. You'd slept terribly. There hadn't been enough room for you to spread out or readjust your position. The mattress was uncomfortable and it became hot with two other people next to you. Ma whined a bit about the firmness in the mattress, but Mom only had encouraged her to enjoy the trip while she could. Put my leg up on the chair because, well. While looking for a spot to get ready, you had some trouble finding a space of your own as the others were doing the same thing. Cope was perched on the top of the counter, brushing his hair and tucking up his legs every time someone wanted to move past. The parents were checking, double checking, and triple checking that you had everything, to the point where you had to stop listening to them altogether. You knew you wouldn't be returning to the RV at all that day, but by the look of the backpacks that were packed up and ready to go, you doubted anything was missing from them. We're at the park. It didn't take much longer until you all exited the RV in a bustle ahead into the Redwood National Park. Hey, so cute. Cove had his head tilted up towards the canopy of trees, his eyes wide as he took in the massive trunks on either side of you. You knew that redwood trees here were considered the tallest trees on Earth, but you weren't prepared for exactly how huge they would be in person.
Come on.
Smile, you two. I'm opening a Capri Sun. This is so cute. Comfort game after crying. so badly. How y'all doing? Capri Sun is so good. I'm sorry, Capri Sun. You spun just in time for Kyra to snap a picture of you and Cove together before she pointed her camera at Cliff, trying to get a shot, despite his weak protest that she would just enjoy the moment. Your parents were walking behind the group a little, with mom telling Ma some information she had read about the park in a brochure. Ma listened happily while looking around and taking in the sights, every now and then asking a question or making a joke about something Mom had said. You smiled at them, thinking your mom must have read a lot of pamphlets to know so much about the park. Maybe you should come and work here as the tour guide, if you know so much about the place. Elizabeth teased, earning a squeeze on the nose from your mom. She seemed to be enjoying herself, but you thought that might just be because she was amused by everyone else's reactions. You were in awe of the redwood trees. You were fascinated by the sensation surrounding you. You were in a good mood. You weren't as pressed as the other. You were embarrassed the adults are being so touristy. Nah, bro. If the adults are being so touristy, I would just cry. A few other people crossed your path as you walked along, and every time you tried to separate yourself from the group more and more, becoming increasingly embarrassed by their overexcitement. The adults had decided on some casual nature walks rather than any serious hiking, and you strolled along at your own pace, taking in the scenery. Elizabeth sped up a little, smirking at Cove as she fell in a place between the two of you, and immediately you could tell her expression. By her expression, she was gonna say something taunting. Can't believe our families are actually on vacation together. She threw her arms out, speaking with a genuine smile of bewilderment. I would have joked about something like this happening, but now I'm not sure I want to give them any more ideas. Cove smiled at her, even if it was a little awkward, and continued walking along. Just watch. Next year, they'll be talking about their next new amazing idea. She put on a fake voice, deeper than her own. We should just sell both of our houses and move in together. Think of how much we'd save on the mortgage. It was clear that Elizabeth was being sarcastic. Cove simply shook his head, not really bothered by her. You suppose he was used to it by this point. But seriously, they do act like we're a single family, just because we live across the street from each other. Elizabeth gave you and Cove a look, her eyes glinting with mischief as she leered at you.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll be related. Legally, anyway. She said as though she was a gossipy old lady. But she almost immediately dropped the tone and nonchalantly said her real thoughts. At least that's what Ma thinks. Cove still blushed and made Elizabeth smile triumphantly, as though that was her whole purpose of teasing him. Then he mumbled quietly, refusing to make eye contact with either of you. I don't know why you think you're so funny when no one else does. My favorite interactions is usually between these two because they're always like at each other's throats. I swear. These two are always like, oh my god. And it's just so funny when Cove makes a comeback because he's always just, I swear. I'll marry you, Cove. I am not saying that. That's like so... You told her to cut it out already. Cove has a point. It wasn't a great comment. No, I was embarrassed. Why did she always have to say things like that? It wasn't fun and she knew it. After no further replies, your sister walked ahead. You and Cove swapped uncomfortable looks. The day continued on with plenty to see and experience. You passed a few different activities that you would have liked to try out if you had the time, such as kayaking and rock climbing, but Ma said that would have to wait for another trip. There was a little stream during the walk that you sat beside and set out a picnic for lunch, nibbling on a selection of fruits, sandwiches, and chips. Various birds flew by overhead that made you made a game out of guessing the species that were hanging out in the trees nearby. You even managed to get a couple of them right, including the kingfisher that grabbed half of Cliff's sandwich. If it was like a nature walk, I probably would have had more fun hanging out in the RV. Let me see. You were glad you got to do this in the end. You were disappointed to have one day in the park. You thought the long trip wasn't worth one day here. You had more fun hanging out in the RV. You hadn't had a good time with this trip. No, I would be vibing. If it's with nature, then I just have more fun in the RV. It was comfortable and cozy in there with no threat of bears or coyotes hanging around waiting to pounce. Even if Mom had assured you you'd be safe enough if you stuck to the track, you still sighed, waiting for the time you could go back. The group made it back to the camp just as the sun was setting in the sky and the stars were appearing one by one. Everyone had enjoyed different parts of it most. You traded stories of what you thought while you were eating dinner, then afterwards you pitched in to help clean up. You, along with Elizabeth and Cove, got to head back to the RV early and spend some time together while the parents stayed outside longer. It was nice to have a space to yourselves after the cramped journey there, and while Elizabeth had locked herself in the back room with her headphones, you and Cove were left in the main lounge area. I'm gonna hang out with Cove. Why wouldn't I hang out with Cove? We might as well get comfortable. Who knows how long they'll be out for. Oh, look at him with his little exercising track jacket that I put him in. Capri Sun. I'm drinking Capri Sun, by the way. Mixed fruit flavored. Pacific Cooler. That one. You took a seat on the sofa while Cove sat down on the other end, tapping his fingers against his knees. Your cheeks warmed a little at that. Being close to him never failed to feel exciting. You'd seen Cove nearly every day for the past 5 years, but seeing him in a jacket was somewhat unusual. In South California, he could get away with that. It was a simple difference from his normal style, yet you couldn't help noticing the way he looked right now. It looked great on him. In fact, Cove always looked nice. When Cove cleared his throat, your eyes snapped to his. He had an eyebrow raised and had clearly caught you staring at him.
What?
Is everything okay? No, you're gonna catch me. That looks nice on you. Everything's good. You averted your gaze from him entirely. Yeah, don't worry about it. That looks nice on you. Yeah, everything is really good. You nodded while saying nothing. Yeah, everything is really good. You smiled knowingly to yourself about why you felt that way while Cove watched in confusing. You decided to explain a part of it. What are you doing? Oh, I was like, don't go, going, I'm not, one of the flirty people that always choose, I want to marry you. You're so adorable. I'm not, that type of person. I don't want you going, you look great in that, absolutely, oh my god, you're gonna make him, run away. You know, I hardly ever see you wearing a jacket, especially in summer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like wearing a few layers. I like wearing as few layers as possible. It's easiest that way. I'd rather be cold than extra hot. It's kind of plain. It's kind of a pain to carry extra clothes around. My parents made me bring this jacket. I'm the same way. I don't mind either way. I love wearing layers. I love layers and accessories too. No, I love layers and accessories. I love wearing layers and accessories a lot. It's probably why I have a That's probably why I have a closed closet almost filled to the brim at home. Cove smiled lightly at you and nodded. I've noticed. You pricked up hearing that. He noticed you too. You changed the subject. You asked him what he liked to see others wear. Yeah, what's your style? What do you like to see? Hey, what kind of things do you think are nice to see on another person? Cove's eyes widened at the question, and his defensive reply seemed to slip out before he had the chance to have a proper think about it. Nothing? That was funny. What? You laughed out loud, and Cove gave you a dry look.
Come on.
That's not what I meant. You composed yourself and sat up straighter, all traces of laughter disappearing from your face. Answer, what do you mean then? Is there anything at all you think looks good when you see it on someone? What's your style? What do you like to see? Cove mumbled under his breath, and you couldn't quite catch the words. He was having a difficult time with the subject. It was a topic that made him uncomfortable, so you let it go. You had a little fun. That was enough. You changed the subject. You're not very good with these conversations, are you? I swear I won't make fun of you. I just thought it would be fun to talk about. I don't know. I don't know, does it make him actually like uncomfortable to talk about styles? Like fashion and stuff? Swear I won't make fun of you. I just thought it'd be fun to talk about. You hadn't intended for the sour. Oh, wait, when did the mood turn sour? You hadn't intended for this to sour the mood. Cove sighed and looked down at his lap where he was fidgeting with his hands, still reluctant to give an answer.
I don't know.
You made an unimpressed sound over how this is going. Are you sure? Fine, I guess. I kind of like ankle bracelets. Ankle bracelets? Yeah, everyone can wear a pretty bracelet. Wrist ones are cool, too, but they're pretty normal. There's something fun or... I did not expect you to say flirty. I did not expect... We were just talking about fashion styles, kid. Oh my god. My contacts, please. About ankle bracelets. It's more special. Or something. I don't know how to explain it. Cove brushed his knuckles against his cheek awkwardly, seeming unsure where to go from here. Thanks for answering. I like them too. Huh? Out of everything in the world, you picked that. So you think... I'm not saying... You cannot say this. No, you cannot say that. No, I like them too. I think ankle bracelets are cool. I just... Cove smiled at you, happy to hear he wasn't the only one who felt that way. When he said nothing else, you took a moment to gather your own thoughts. You had to get an ankle on ASAP. Anklet on it. Maybe you wear anklets more now. Maybe you wouldn't wear anklets so often. You thought about buying an anklet of your own. You were happy to hear more about Cove, but it didn't really change anything. Nah, I don't know if I would wear ankle bracelets. I just thought we were just talking about fashion and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god. You thought of buying an anklet of your own. No, I was happy to hear more about Cove, but it didn't really change anything. Cove's opinion hadn't had an impact on your own thoughts on the accessory. Cove looked away, feeling awkward about this. Wow! You gave him an understanding look, and usually he would start to smile like normal again, but not this time. His expression only stiffened more. You were surprised to see him like this, as he always bounced back pretty quickly after being flustered. Cove? Still, he wouldn't look at you, and now even his breathing was growing tense. It began to click. He was trying to build himself up to enough to say something hard for him. You waited for it silently. Until finally he picked your way through the corner of his eye. You were fully attentive by this point for whatever he was going to mention next.
That's,
People having golden eyes. That's something I like too. Wow! Really? Golden eyes? My... insert yellow eyes. Huh? For a moment you were stunned and at a complete loss for words. That was definitely not where you imagined this was going. Cove faced you head on, his expression full of desperate meaning. You got the distinct impression he hadn't chosen that just because he liked the color gold. He chose it entirely because it was your eye color. Was he trying to flirt with you? That was all you could think. Your legs felt like jelly and you wondered if you might fall right off the couch. What do you like for another person, Lee? Me? Everything about... Pretty hair is kind of vague. Glasses, blue eyes, muscles. Muscles? You think he's gonna try and get ripped if I say muscles? He's gonna be like, hey. Wow. Pretty hair? Pretty hair could be any type of hairstyle. Maybe I'll just be a little bit direct. Glasses. Maybe blue eyes is the only one I would think. I do not want to say everything about you because that is so... I'm gonna say blue eyes. Blue eyes. Cove blushed deeper, a deeper shade of red, and his mouth felt open, acknowledging that you had used the same line back to him. Now you were both flirting with each other. What the fuck? I didn't know what else to say. I was gonna say like what I like on another person. Style? I thought we were talking about fashion. He placed his hands on his lap and looked down. It seemed he hadn't expected to get this far. Didn't know where to go from here. With that topic abruptly dropped off, Cove officially had no more to say on it. The parents all arrived soon after, each of them climbing into the RV and finding some place to sit down and rest their legs. Elizabeth, having heard the commotion, came out from I thought this was going to say conversation. I was like, she heard all of that. Came out from the room for the first time since arriving and joined you all. You even spent the evening chatting and playing a few games, enjoying the last evening of the trip together. Bedtime arrived with the blink of an eye as the group hunkered down for the night. Your mom did a final round to be sure nothing had been left behind. She explained that Cliff was going to start driving early in the morning like on the first day, but would be letting everyone else in the group sleep. There wouldn't be a need for all of them to get up. Now is the time to check you hadn't left anything outside. You, as well as everyone else, were confident you had all packed up inside the RV, which meant it was time to get some rest before the journey home tomorrow. Your moms and Elizabeth said goodnight, heading to the back room while you climbed up to the loft. Cove and his family got situated down in the previous set arrangement. You tried to get more comfortable as millions of thoughts were running through your mind. It was hard to believe that your trip was practically over, and before you knew it, you'd be back in your own bed at home. You enjoyed this mini adventure. You thought the trip had been okay. You felt the trip was a waste of time. You hadn't had a good time. No, I thought this was like a fun mini adventure. It was short, that's for sure, but you got to see and do so much during your time here. All in all, it was a nice break away from home. The minutes ticked by silently. It didn't take long for the soft snores of Cliff and Kyra to drift upon you. They were asleep now. You wondered if Cove was still awake and decided to poke your head out from the loft to find out. You blinked through the dark. Looking down the hall, you noticed Cove laying on his back, his eyes staring straight up the ceiling. His seafoam hair was spread out in his sleeping bag. He must have felt you watching him because suddenly his eyes locked out on yours. It was difficult to see much in the dim light, but you could make out the crooked smile on his face well enough. Make a silly face, grinned back at him, waved at him. I would wave. Cove waved back, still smiling at you through the dim light. Back just in time, really just in time. Then you gestured for him to come over. Then you went back trying to sleep. Then you decided to have fun quietly. I don't know. If we can't sleep, I would be like, you want to vibe? Let's vibe. Then you went back trying to sleep. No, I wouldn't. Why would I try and go back to sleep if we are vibing together? You then decided to have fun quietly. It's either one of these options, for me at least. You decided to have fun quietly. You buried yourself under the blanket and pulled out your game console as silently as possible. No! No, well, I wanted to hang out with Cove. If I'm gonna... Cove looked unsure about it, but you were happy to see him slowly start to sit up anyways. His sleeping back rustled as he moved, though he tried to go slow, and froze up like a deer in headlights every time he made a sound, watching his parents for any sign of movement. I was too slow. If he comes over, you're gonna see. I did it! No worries. I was like, I didn't realize that having fun quietly was like by myself. I'm gonna get them. We're gonna vibe. I'm sorry. Eventually, he managed to maneuver around his sleeping dad and make it to the ladder, standing on the bottom rung while he looked up at you and whispered, "What?" "Hi." Cove shook his head in disbelief, but you could see the hint of a smile peeking out. "Good night, Lee." No! He turned right around and crept back to his spot on the floor. You lay down, shuffling in your bag, looking up at the rivets set in the roof of the RV through the dark. At some point, your eyes grew heavy and you gently drifted off into a deep sleep. When you woke up in the next morning, you gotta come onto the loft for the CD. Lame! All I said was hi. I didn't even look at the other options. That's lame. I feel like whenever I play this game, I don't get CGs like at all. Usually it's just like talking. When you woke up the next morning, it was to the rumble of the RVs as it traveled the long journey home. Still blinking sleepily, you peeked over the edge of the loft to get a glimpse at what was happening. Cove was sitting with his mom on the couch, the two of them talking quietly. He must have noticed you moving around up there because Cove's blue eyes snapped at yours. Why does he always they use that a lot in this one. They were like, his eyes snapped at yours, just like boosh. Like, hey yo. And gave you a smile. Morning, Lee. Good morning, Cove. Soon your moms and Elizabeth emerged from their rooms dressed and ready for the day of the travel. You spent most of the day hanging out together in the RV, savoring the last few hours of vacation. Kyra suggested a few different travel games she used to play with Cove when he was younger, and you all had a great time competing against each other. When the RV finally pulled onto your street, it was well into the night, and you were looking forward to crawling into your own bed after the last few days. Everyone else must have been feeling the same because it was mutually agreed that unpacking and cleaning the RV would wait until tomorrow. Once home again, you went straight up to your room and dropped onto your bed, shoes and all. You were happy to be in your own bed. You felt weird to be alone. Even going to be alone. You wish you were still on the trip. Nah, we were vibing with Cove. I miss Cove. The two of you had basically been living together for 3 days. It was nice. But you knew that it wouldn't be the last time you two would spend time together. The thought comforted you. With those last thoughts drifting through your mind, it wasn't long before you dozed off to sleep. Tomorrow life would go on normal. Hey. Too bad I didn't get the CG. I don't think I've gotten the CG at all. Let me see. Wait. Oh my god, I thought I woke up. Oops, I accidentally quit the game. My dumbass. I'm dumb. Why do I do this? Look, wait. Gallery. I don't think I've gotten CGs, like, at all. Let me see. Step 2. I've only gotten 2 CGs, but I've completed a lot of DLC content. Oh, I forget we can dress him up. No, I'm keeping him the same. What is wrong with your pants? What is wrong with your pants? Put on those cargo pants. Not the other one. Oh my god. Turn to main menu. Okay, continue. What happened? I swear I did I'm so lame. I forgot to save. That's lame. No, I forgot to save. I hate this. Should I just... what time is it? Like 11? Okay, so then the next time I stream, I'm just gonna do these DLCs. I'm gonna do these ones, redo them, I guess, on my own, because I guess I didn't save. Lame. But next time I stream this game, I'm gonna make sure I do all of these like DLCs. And then I think I'm not gonna, since I wanted to stream already, so that's why I did it just now. But I'm not gonna have time on Monday. Maybe I'll have time on Monday, who knows. But hopefully I'll be able to stream at some point 3 times a week. Tomorrow. Not tomorrow. But yeah. I mean, thank you for joining this sudden stream. It was fun. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Wow, that was loud. I usually have it like here. I usually have it like there. There you go. Wow. But thank you for joining the stream. I know it was like sudden, but it was fun. It was fun. I got to play like 2 games today. 2 streams today, which I haven't ever done before. Like 2 streams in one day. But it was fun. Wow. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you had fun while you were here, at least. I'm gonna post my stream schedule soon. I'm gonna have like, I don't know what the plan is, but I'm planning on streaming Angels of Death and I think Minecraft. Broski, you still streaming? I am still streaming, broski. I was just about to end though, so it's all good. But I don't know. I hope you had fun. It was a vibe. Thank you, GammyKit, for joining my stream. Oh, well, never mind. Get back and it's over. Yeah. But the game is a lot of fun. I'm upset that I completely forgot to save, but it was a garb. So cute. But I hope you had fun. I'll be posting my stream schedule soon on both Discord and Instagram if you want to, like, I don't know, check that out when I do post it. But until then, I don't know, subscribe, join the Discord, like the stream. I don't know what to call. Everybody's like the video, right? But this isn't a video. It's a stream. It's a stream. What am I supposed to do? I always try to watch your stream. God, I sound like a sim. No, Gabby, you're great. I love seeing you like literally almost every stream. It's always so fun. You're like the regular. You're a regular. I got you a Capri Sun. Nah, you're a vibe. I love seeing people reoccurring on stream. It's always just a fun time. But I hope you had fun. And I'll post my stream schedule soon. I'm gonna go see the Demon Slayer movie. Next time I stream, I'll definitely have seen the Demon Slayer movie. So I'll cry about that. But as always, goodbye. Wah!